I had faced the big black cat many times before. Every time it was tense and dangerous. There was no chance to look at it carefully. Now it was inside an iron cage. It could not escape. Only now could I watch it closely. Bak Tang and I stood in front of the cage. We both stared at the cat. Inside the cage, the black cat rushed around wildly. It hit the cage again and again. The force was so strong that the cage shook from side to side. After a few minutes, the cat seemed to understand that struggling was useless. Slowly, it became quiet. It lay down, looked at us, and made low, gurgling sounds. It was a very large black cat. It gave people a very strange feeling. Without its long tail, it looked even stranger. Bak Tang spoke first. "What a strange cat," she said. "Look at its eyes. They are full of hatred." She was right. The cat's eyes were full of hatred. Dark green light shone inside them. That light made people feel uneasy. But the cat was locked in the cage. It could not hurt us now, so I was not afraid. I gave a cold laugh. "The hatred in my eyes is not weaker," I said. "Don't forget, it destroyed our home completely." As I spoke, a strong feeling rose inside me. I lifted my foot and kicked the iron cage hard. The cage made a loud noise. I shouted, "Demon cat, so you finally fell into my hands." These words had no real meaning. The action had no real meaning either, but I still did it. After that, I laughed loudly like a child. The big black cat stayed crouched. It did not move. It only made low, gurgling sounds. I turned to Bak Tang and said, "What should we do with it? I have a friend who likes to eat cat meat. People say old cats taste better." Bak Tang frowned. She shook her head. "Stop joking," she said. "The cat can't understand you. It doesn't know you are threatening it." I turned back to look at the cat. At that moment, I felt something very clear. I felt that Bak Tang was wrong. That cat could understand my words. When I talked about eating cat meat, I clearly saw fear in its eyes and on its face. To be sure, I spoke again, this time more fiercely. "I will pour boiling water on you and burn you to death." As soon as I said this, Bak Tang reacted too. She cried out, "Oh my God, it really understands you." There was no doubt now. The cat understood human words. When I talked about boiling water, its body began to shake. Fear and anger appeared clearly. Bak Tang and I looked at each other. Cats are smart animals, but being this smart was hard to believe. Maybe my face looked very cruel. That could be why the cat felt afraid. To test this again, I turned my back to the cage and spoke calmly to Bak Tang. "I have decided. I will kill it. I will take its skin and use it as decoration in our living room." While I spoke, I made a small hand sign to tell Bak Tang to watch the cat carefully. I was facing away from the cat. My voice was calm. If the cat could not understand my words, it should not react. But before I finished speaking, I saw a shocked look on Bak Tong's face. I turned around at once. The old black cat had arched its back. All its fur stood up. Its body was very tense. Bak Tong said quickly, "It just jumped fiercely. It looked like it wanted to attack you." I crouched down and faced the big black cat. I shouted, "It's over. You can't cause trouble anymore." The cat's fur stood up even more. Its back curved in a frightening way. Its dark green eyes stared at me straight. At that moment, I did not know what to do next. I already knew it was not a normal cat, but I did not know it was strange to this level. It could understand human speech. I smiled at the cat. "If you can understand me, that is even better," I said. "You are a demon cat, but now you are in a cage. You cannot do anything anymore. You cannot harm us again." The big black cat did not move. Its back stayed arched. Its dark green eyes stared at me. Bak Tong spoke suddenly. "Let's push the cage to the basement," she said. "I don't like its eyes." I felt the same. I was sure the cat could understand my words, but I could not understand the sounds it made. For now, the best choice was to lock it away. I put both hands on the iron cage. As soon as I moved closer, the cat jumped up. It pushed its sharp claws through the holes in the cage and held on to the metal bars. At the same time, it made a terrible sound. The cat looked so frightening that when I pushed the cage toward the basement, Bak Tong walked closely behind me. She was afraid something might happen to me. We reached the basement. Then we stepped back to the door and turned off the light. In the darkness, the cat's eyes looked even more frightening. I knew the cat was inside the cage and could not escape. But to be safe, when we left the basement, I locked the door carefully. Back in the bedroom, Bak Tong looked at me. Then she lowered her head and said, "Suddenly, I feel that we should stop being enemies and become friends with that cat." I gave a bitter smile. "How can we do that?" I asked. "Can it understand our kindness?" Bak Tong frowned. "Maybe," she said, "we should let it out." I was shocked. I waved my hands quickly. I am not a coward, but when she said this, my heart began to beat fast. "Don't be foolish," I said. "It was very hard to catch it. How can we let it out?" Even with bad people, making enemies into friends does not always work. How could it work with such a violent cat? Bak Tong looked at me and asked, "Then what will you plan to do?" I forced a small smile. "Of course I will not really pour boiling water on it," I said. "Now that we have caught it, Old Man Zhang must be very worried. I will put a notice in the newspaper. I will ask him to meet us. Then we can talk and decide." Bak Tong sighed softly. "That old man may be harder to deal with than the big black cat." "Maybe," I said, "but he is still a human. We can talk to him. At least," I added, "he does not have sharp claws." Bak Tong said calmly, "Don't blame the cat too much. Humans have knives, guns, and bombs. They do not need claws. I was silent for a moment. Then I laughed. "What's wrong with you?" I said. "Did you forget how badly it destroyed our home?" Baktan looked at me. "And you should not forget you broke its tail first." I spread my hands. "All right," I said. "This demon cat has a defender like you. I wonder how thankful it will be." Baktan sighed and said nothing more. The tension of the last days was gone. We had caught the cat. I felt relaxed. I also felt very tired. I yawned, lay down, and soon fell asleep. The next day, when I woke up, it was already bright outside. Baktan was not in bed. I called her name loudly, but no one answered. I felt a sudden fear. There was a demon cat in the house. Anything could happen. I called her again and rushed downstairs. When I reached the ground floor, I heard her voice. "I'm here." Her voice came from the basement. I ran into the basement at once. I saw Baktan sitting in front of the iron cage. Inside the cage were 2 fish. Thank heaven, the cat was still inside. It was curled up in one corner. When Baktan saw me, she said, "Look, it won't eat. Maybe it feels bad being locked in the cage." I gave a cold laugh. "So what?" I said. "Should we put flowers on the table and invite it to eat?" Baktan did not agree. "When did you become so cruel?" she asked. "It is only a cat." I said angrily, "Luckily, it is only a cat. If it were a human, we might already be dead." Baktan laughed. "You see," she said, "without knowing it, you also admit that humans are more dangerous than cats." "This cat," she continued, "I think I can become friends with it. Do you believe me?" I was shocked. "No," I said at once. Baktan opened her mouth to speak, but before she could say anything, I spoke again. "If you want to let it out, that is impossible," I said firmly. Baktan did not argue with me. She only asked, "You said you would put a notice in the newspaper. When will you go?" I did not want to talk too much in front of the cat. I made a hand sign. After we left the basement together, I said, "I will go after breakfast. I hope the notice can appear in the evening paper. If all goes well, we may meet Old Man Zhang tonight." After that, I said very seriously, "Promise me one thing. Do not do anything foolish. If you let the cat out, you will regret it." Baktan smiled. "Don't worry," she said. I ate breakfast and prepared to go out. Before I left, I felt a strange unease. It felt like something bad might happen if Baktan stayed home alone. But I thought about it again. As long as the cat stayed in the iron cage, nothing should happen. I would be gone for only 1 or 2 hours. So, after warning her once more not to let the cat out, I left the house. About 1 hour later, I came back from the newspaper office. On the way home, my uneasy feeling became stronger. As soon as I entered the house, I called loudly, "Bak Tang." There was no answer. The house was strangely quiet. My heart began to beat fast. I rushed upstairs at once, calling her name again and again. She was not there. I ran around the rooms, but still could not find her. I hurried downstairs again. The living room was still a mess. Nothing had been fixed. It made me feel even more upset. I called her name again, louder than before. Then I saw her walk out of the kitchen. When I saw her, I finally relaxed. "Where were you?" I asked quickly. I looked very nervous, but Bak Tang looked calm. "I was in the basement," she said. If I had not seen her standing there safely, those words would have scared me badly. I asked at once, "What were you doing in the basement?" Bak Tang smiled slightly. "If I tell you," she said, "you must not get angry." I frowned. I knew she had a reason to say this. And I knew it must be about the black cat locked in the basement. I sighed. "Bak Tang," I said, "don't get close to that cat. You will regret it." She smiled in a playful way. "I already did," she said, "and I don't regret it." Hearing this, I became very nervous. I held her hand at once. "What did you do?" I asked. Bak Tang said calmly, "Don't worry. I still believe that cat is not normal," she continued. "So we should not treat it like an ordinary bad cat. I wanted to be its friend." I sighed deeply. "Don't forget," I said, "that cat is almost a killer." Bak Tang pulled me away from the kitchen. She spoke more softly, as if she did not want the cat to hear us. When we reached the stairs, she stopped and said, "Yes, it killed a dog, but think about it. When a hunting dog attacks a cat, unless the cat cannot defend itself, how can you blame the cat for fighting back?" I opened my eyes wide and said nothing. She continued, "It was the same with old Boo. No matter how fierce the cat is, it is still only a cat. But you sent a very strong dog, a dog that could fight a wild bull, to attack it. How could the cat not fight with all its strength?" I stayed silent. At that moment, I was not trying to argue with her. I was thinking, maybe Bak Tang was partly right. From the first time I saw that big black cat, I treated it as an enemy. Because of that, our hatred only grew deeper. If I was wrong, then her gentle way might be the correct one. Still, I did not feel fully at ease. After thinking for a while, I asked, "So what happened just now?" Bak Tang looked happy. She said, "I made some progress. I talked to it for a long time. It was very calm with me." I gave a bitter smile. If someone else heard this, they would never guess we were talking about a cat.
Bak Tang continued speaking calmly. She said that when she entered the basement, the cat was very uneasy. It jumped inside the cage. It made terrible sounds. She walked close to the cage. She spoke to the cat in a soft voice. She told the cat that she knew it was not an ordinary cat. She said the relationship between us was strange, but she believed it could change. After she said these words, the cat slowly became quiet. I gave a bitter smile. "That sounds like a story," I said. "A cat cannot understand such deep words." Baktong looked serious. "It really understands," she said. I waved my hand. "All right," I said. "If it understands, what did you say next?" She said she told the cat we could be friends. She said she would not treat it as a simple animal. She would treat it as a being with intelligence. I snorted softly. "Maybe it is even smarter than us," I said. "Yes," Baktong said. "That is why we must use a different way." She also told the cat something else. She said we would forget what it did to our living room. She hoped the cat would forget its broken tail. I frowned. "How did it answer you?" I asked. Baktong smiled. "It did not answer," she said. It became very quiet. It looked at me seriously. It was like it was thinking. She then said that I came home at that time. I called her loudly. When the cat heard my voice, it became uneasy again. That is why she thought I should also show my attitude. I felt annoyed. "Do you want me to say sorry to it?" I asked. Baktong shook her head. "That is not important," she said. "The important thing is to understand the cat." She looked at me seriously. "There are too many mysteries," she said. "With what you found and what I saw, we must try." I took a deep breath. She was right. This cat was too strange. If I did nothing, the questions would stay with me. After thinking for a while, I spoke slowly. "You said it became uneasy when it heard my voice. If I go to see it..." Baktong stopped me. "That depends on you," she said. "If you truly want peace, it will feel it. I have already seen that," she added. I thought again. Then I nodded. "All right," I said. "I will try." Baktong looked very happy. She walked with me toward the basement. As soon as I entered, the big black cat arched its back. Its eyes looked fierce. Its body was tense. I forced myself to stay calm. I walked forward slowly. As I moved closer, its fur stood up, one hair after another. At that moment, I made a decision. I would not treat it as a cat. I would treat it as a strange and dangerous being. I stopped in front of the cage. I spread my hands. "All right," I said calmly. "What happened between us should end here. You suffered. I suffered too." The old black cat made a low sound. I continued speaking. "You are not an ordinary cat. I know that. If we keep fighting, you will lose more. Not me." The cat's back slowly relaxed. Its fur went down. The sound became softer. I looked at Baktong. She looked at me too. We both understood. The cat had accepted my words. Bai Tang and I looked at each other. We both knew this moment was very important. If we truly wanted to stop being enemies, we had to let the cat out of the cage. But the thought was frightening.
The cat was dangerous. Letting it out was not easy. Both of us were thinking the same thing. Bai Tang took a slow breath. She spoke to the cat. "Can you stop being our enemy? We are going to let you out." The black cat stood up inside the cage. It stood on its back legs. At that moment, it looked very gentle. It was like a trained cat in a show. My heart moved. I spoke slowly. "If you will not be our enemy, then nod your head 3 times." As soon as I said this, the old cat cried softly. Then it nodded its head. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. At that moment, I felt something very strange. This cat was almost like a human. It could not speak, but it understood everything. I remembered the test result. Its bones showed great age, more than 3,000 years. If it was truly that old, it should understand human words. But could a cat live that long? I walked closer to the cage. I placed my hand on the cage. This was very dangerous. The cat could attack me, but it did not move. Bai Tang and I looked at each other again. We both made a decision. If fighting had no answer, we had to try another way. I kept my hand on the cage. After a short time, I opened the lock. At the same time, I stepped back. The cage door fell open. The sound was loud. The door was fully open. The old black cat was free.